Hello, word detectives. I hope you guys had an awesome day so far, and I hope you guys are ready for mission number 13. Before we get there, like normal, I just want to remind you of what we worked on yesterday with Mr. Bookman. We worked on paying attention to the beginning of our word. We paid attention for blends and digraphs at the beginning that it could help us read the start of our word to solve our tricky word. Today we have mission number 13. Let's see what he has for us.
Oh, hello, kids. Welcome back. Just enjoying a nice cup of coffee. Ooh-wee. What do we got? I'll tell you what we got. Mission 13. Please be easy to open. Oh, paper cut. Be careful. Aha, that's the ticket. All right. Mission 13. When word detectives see a big word that has an ending they know, they can break the ending off to figure out the part that is left over. Then they can put the parts back together to read the whole word in a way that makes sense and sounds right. Let me repeat. The words have to make sense and sound right. If it doesn't make sense and sound right, then you've got to go back and fix it. Your teacher will show you how it's done.
So as I just reminded you, yesterday we worked on paying attention to the beginning of our words, looking for blends and digraphs. Today, Mr. Bookman told us that we are going to pay attention to the end of our word. We're going to look all the way to the end and see if there's a familiar ending that we know that maybe we can cover up or take all the way off to help us read the other part of our word. So that is what you are going to do today. You are going to break the ending off of your words to see if that will help you solve your word. So before we get started in our book, I want to remind you of what some common endings are that we know of. We know that ing says ing, ing, ing. Ing is what we find on the end of a word a lot of times, like reading, right? Like writing. We have ing on the end of a lot of words. We can cover up that ing to help us read the rest of the word and then put those two parts back together. We also see ed on the end of a word a lot. Remember, when you see ed at the end of a word, you say ed, d, or t. So ed is a part that we can take off to read the rest of our word. And then sometimes, if we're talking about a bunch of animals on a farm, we might have S or ES on the end of our word to make that word more than one, like shoes or farms or trains. We can take that S off or that ES off. We can read the other part of our word and then we can add that S or that ES back on. So that's what we're going to look for in our book right now as we read. We are going to try solving words by taking the end of our words off, and I'm going to show you how it's done. To do this tricky work today, to look at the end of a word and break off the end of a word, we're going to continue using our book called Lost Socks. And we are going to look and try to spot a word that might have an ending on the end like we have seen before. Maybe the ending is ES, maybe the ending is S, maybe the ending is ED, or maybe the ending is ing. If we find any of these words or any of these letters on the end of a word, we can cover them up, we can break them off in order to help us spell or sound out a new word. So we are going to start with that work today. Lost socks. I want you to take a look at this page for just a second. You might want to pause your video for this, and I want you to see if you see one of those endings on a word. Remember, it could be ing, It could be ED, it could be ES, or it could be S. And I'm going to show you the first word that I see, and it's this word. I'm going to frame it with my fingers and show you. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to build it so you guys can see that word. Miss Strohmeyer read that word yesterday, so you might already know that word. But if you don't know this word, I'm going to build it for you, and I'm going to show you the end that we can take off. We know that some of the letters that we have at the end of a word could be ED. We can separate that ED. We can put that ED all the way over here, and we can try solving this part first. So let's try doing that together. J, m, p, j, m, p. Let's do it a little bit faster. J, m, p, jump. Yes, this word is jump. Now remember, when we see ED at the end of a word, it can say ed, d, or t. So jumped, jumped, or jumped. I think that this word is jumped. You see how we took that end off? We solved this part first, and then we put that end back on to figure out what the long word was in our book. Let's see if jumped makes sense in this sentence, because remember, Mr. Bookman said it's very important that it looks right and it makes sense. Tim and Michael jumped into the pool. Here comes the ball, shouted Michael. I think that jumped makes sense. The ball made a big splash. Look at me, said Mom. I'm all wet. Let's go to the next page and see if there's another word that maybe we can try to solve together. The boys had fun. Please get out now, Tim, said his mom. You are, oh my goodness, I spot an ing. So let's build this word really quickly. We need G-E-T-T. Let's get jumped out of the way here. We need G-E-T-T-I-N-G. Now again, Mr. Bookman has taught us that we can take the ending of our word off. So ing is an ending that we know. We can separate ing. We can put ing all the way over here, not worry about it, and we can solve this part first. So I see a snap word. I see G-E-T, which says get, g-et, get. And if we put another T on there, I think we still have get. So if we have get, we can add ing, get-ing. Oh, getting. Let's see if getting makes sense and sounds right in our book. The boys had fun. Please get out now, Tim, said his mom. You are getting cold. I think that absolutely makes sense. So before you try this in your book, I want you to be reminded of the endings, the very special endings that you can have on the end of a word. You can have ing, you can have ed, you can have es or s. You can cover up these letters to help you solve the rest of your word, but don't forget that you always have to put those letters back on at the very end after you solve the first part. All right, your word detectives, it is your time to shine. In your books today, as you're reading, I want you to make sure you're paying attention to the end of the word. You're looking for ing, ing. You're looking for ed that can say ed, d, or t. And then you are also looking for es or s. You can cover up all of those parts to help you read the first part or the beginning part of your word. Then you can put those parts back together to help you. Don't forget that you need to read by yourself for 20 minutes today. After you finish reading for 20 minutes, I want you to work for 20 minutes on Lexia. Can't wait to see how hard you guys work. Don't forget you have paper books and you have online books. So make sure that you are reading today. I will see you all tomorrow for mission number 14. Bye, friends.